Hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. For today's podcast episode, we are actually going to be reviewing Outside the Wire. This movie stars Anthony Mackie, and then, of course, you also have Damson Idris that's in this, and then Emily Beecham, and then Michael Kelly. And this is actually directed by Mikael Håfström. But yeah, this is actually a movie that Frenchie and I did a trailer reaction to. And I was actually sold on the trailer. I loved the trailer for what it was. It sold me on the action, the whole entire deal where Anthony Mackie is this character that you don't know if you should trust him or not. And then, of course, we have the other character who is actually played by Damson Idris. And there was my thoughts and everything. It was one of those trust issues between the two characters where they don't even know if they can trust each other, and that's what I was actually sold on. I was also sold on the action sequences. I thought the action sequences looked good for the trailer, and then whenever I saw the movie and everything, it was a totally different story in that. And if you guys are wondering what this plot is about, it's centered around 2036, a civil war between pro-Russian insurgents and local resistance in Ukraine that leads to the United States to deploy peacekeeping forces during an operation. A team of United States Marines and GUMPS, robotic soldiers is what they're called, but they're actually called GUMPS, and are ambushed. Disobeying an order, a drone and First Lieutenant Harp destroys a Hellfire missile in a drone strike against a suspected enemy launcher, killing 2 Marines but saving 38. And this is actually where the story actually sets up, where now he's actually suspended from the drone area and is actually being forced to partner up with Anthony Mackie's character, who's actually a droid. And how would you actually describe his droid, though, Charlie? Would you actually consider that as what's that nanotechnology is what they're using?
Yeah,
for Anthony
some
Mackie.
sort of weird. It's like a synthetic droid. It doesn't have human we're not talking about Terminator robots here. We're talking like with that can look like humans and have like the exoskeletons of stuff. No, this is like a weird like upgrade on that, in which they're not really like, it's not really human body parts. It's like some synthetic thing. I mean, that's the best I can describe it. It's a
future. They're using
nanotechnology.
Right, they're using nanotechnology for him. Anthony Mackie's character's named Captain Leo, and he's a highly advanced experimental android super soldier masqueraded as a human officer. Harp and Leo are set out on a mission to prevent terrorist Victor Koval from gaining control of a network of Cold War-era nuclear missile silos. And I actually liked that setup in a sense before we actually knew what we were getting. I thought the setup was really good in the first 5-10 minutes. Because you actually have a soldier that is suspended from doing what he was doing. Now he's having to partner up with Leo. Leo actually tells him about these missiles that are still there within Russia's radius and everything, and how and then that's also too when, of course, what's his character's name that I just mentioned? Damson Idris's character is like, well, I thought that the missiles and everything from Russia had died off because of the Cold War. And then Leo's like, well, you thought that they were killed off. You thought that they were gone? And he just laughs in his face and everything because, Russia's going to do what Russia's going to do regardless of anything. And basically Leo's trying to tell him that they shouldn't trust Russia or anything like that, just because that it looks like the missiles appear to have not been working since the Cold War does not mean that it's not there at all. Yeah. So their whole entire objective is to try and prevent the missiles from actually striking.
Yeah. Like I said, I think like I had the same reaction you did when I first watched the trailer. Like, I was hyped for it. It looked pretty cool. Like, oh, Netflix got a good action movie. Anthony Mackie's kicking some ass. And then prior to watching this movie, like it might have been a few weeks prior to I watched it, a buddy of mine, I saw his review for it and I was reading it and I'm like, and he's saying the movie's bad. And I'm like, oh no. I don't know what's wrong with this. So I watched it on my own. So I had to I had some inclinations that this was going to be bad from this reader's review, but the opening sequence of this befuddled me. I'm like, seriously? Like, he saved 38 people. It could have been a lot worse. He was in a lose-lose. Like, if he didn't do it, more people were going to die, especially from this thing, the thing that actually turns out to be this robotic turret or whatever that was in this thing that he saved. And there's like, oh no, we need to devote you. You're getting sent back to basic training. And I'm like, sorry, I had an inclination. Like, I hated those people that sent him down. They're like, you seriously don't know? It's like what's this? Like I said, I mean, like nobody should have died, but the fact that if he did not did that, what he did, like, I mean, it's like, come on. And then him going down there, and then Leo's telling him like, yeah, we're taking this over. Like Leo's pretty much like being the leader that he was, and you figured, okay, he's a hard-nosed guy, he's seen war, so he knows what to expect. So you're like, okay, I guess we can trust him, but we don't know if we can trust the other guy, like, because he's a rookie. So that was like I said, I agree. It was an interesting topic, like, or idea that the first 5 minutes started out with, but again, like, I hated how they treated him in the beginning. Like, he saved 38 people. You could have lost 40 people if he didn't do what he did, and that's why I kind of hated the military people for that. I'm like, come on, yeah,
right. And then Leo also tells them, he goes, they should have put a medal on you and not suspend you. So even Leo was in agreement with that.
And then, of course, the people that he's like, the group that the command post area that he's with, the douchebag captain that told him to hold off, I need to save my men. He's letting his people beat him up while, like, I'm like, come on. It's a team effort. He saved you, and he saved the 30 you and 37 other people. Those two shouldn't have died, but if he didn't do what he did, I mean, you should at least get give him some props for saving your life instead of like having his own your own command people beat him up. I didn't find that like really assuring. Like, so like, okay, we clearly don't like any of these people, so I guess the only two people they're kind of like forcing us to like Leo and him, even though like sometimes both of them don't have likable qualities.
No, especially whenever you get into the whole thing with Harp. Harp is like a mindless killer if you actually think about it. Even Leo calls him out on it. He goes, oh, you a cold-ass blooded killer. Because he doesn't have any morals at all as to any heart or emotion to the damage that he does to people or anything like that with the droids. And it does call him out on a little bit of the stuff that he does. And at that time, and we're going to get to that in a few minutes, but, usually when we see stuff like that, usually we actually see the character start to change a little bit into who he's going to be later on in the film. With this one, I didn't really see him change all that much.
Who his last name was Harp? Was that the Mackie character?
No, Leo is the Mackie character.
Okay, Leo. Okay, I forgot what his last name was.
Right, and Leo is also a cold-blooded person though as well, even though he's a droid. But that's actually kind of funny though that he has his own emotions and stuff like that. But Harp is one of those people, once you find out later on in the film and everything, he's supposed to be this character that transforms later on into the character that he's supposed to be because of everything that he did with the drone and the damage that he caused. And also, too, he also destroyed people's homes and things like that, and the casualties with the homes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Now I know who Harp was the other guy. Okay.
Yeah. Harp, and like I said, this is where they wind up going to the nuclear missile silos under the cover of delivering vaccines to a refugee camp.
Yeah.
And this is actually where we see the Gumps in action as well with this whole entire thing. To me, the setup was actually pretty cool on that end. It was just the delivery of where they were actually delivering the vaccines. To me, it just seemed like kind of paint by the numbers kind of thing where there was no emotion to it. don't get me wrong, I wasn't really on the edge of my seat like I was supposed to be or anything like that, because we see snipers coming out from the building and watching these two characters transfer the vaccines and everything. But at the same time, Mackie is like walking slowly up there, Leo is, and he's telling them to lower his guns. We had the vaccines. Then they give him the vaccines, and that's the end of the thing. But then Mackie winds up explaining to him why he actually looks like, explain to Leo why he actually looks the way he does, is because the army, or the military for that matter, and everything, is because of the fact that the army thought that having a calm face and collect face would actually entrust people with him.
Mm-hmm.
So there was that outlook. But what did you think of that scene?
I thought it was weird, and I thought it was very predictable. Like the fact that, like, and immediately afterwards they're ambushed. Like, I mean, come on, you have open windows up on the balconies, and the military people were like, "You guys are supposed to be like supposed to see this stuff coming, because I mean, if you live it, you should be able to know an ambush is coming. There's the balcony's open, the windows are open. You know something's going to happen." And I just thought it was, like I said, it's just that sequence was just to move the plot, like just to fit out, just to get those two alone to escape, and then continue on of whatever they're gonna do. I think it was just to move the plot in a sense, and I'm like, what was the plot? And that's the hard part. Like, you have no idea what this plot was. You think it's straightforward, and then you have different webs of things coming in at once, and it's harder to make understand what is going on.
Exactly. It feels like a GTA, a Grand Theft Auto side story of different things going on, where they have said, "Oh, we have to go on this side mission before we get to the main plot," and everything. Yeah. But it also feels like, to me, the Anthony Mackie, Leo, and Harp characters were forced. It didn't really feel like it was natural. It was just, they decided, okay, let's put these two characters together and try and figure out a way for them to interact with each other and find out a way to where they have conflict.
Let's make Training Day in a futuristic world. That's essentially what they were trying to do. Like him asking about his girlfriend, and I'm surprised he didn't ask him to try this drug. Like, I'm surprised that Anthony Mackie didn't ask him to do this, or kind of did later on. I'm like, here, I need you to remove my safety chip. And it's like, well, I didn't tell him to do that. I'm like, so it's like, they seem to try to force a Training Day on us with this movie in the futuristic world, in a sense.
It did feel like Training Day, and even after the Gump shoots the local who threw a rock at the Gump, Captain Leo negotiates a peaceful solution by giving the locals the contents of the A truck, have a pro-Russian insurgents ambush the locals and Marines, leading to a firefight that forces Leo and Harp to travel to the refugee camp on foot, while the Marines remain behind and engage in the insurgents. So while all that shit is going on, they just go on ahead and walk through it like nothing even happens.
Again, so I mean, plot. That is essentially is a plot movie. We're like, all right, we need to, whatever this is going on. All right, let's have them distracted while these two guys do whatever they're supposed to do. I'm like, okay. I mean, you could have done it way better.
To be honest with you, like I said, I was sold with the trailer, and then once we got the movie, in the first 5-10 minutes, I was sold, and then it feels like Training Day mixed in with a side story. To be honest,
yeah, and unfortunately, the plot gets much worse as we progress.
Right, and I have this in my notes too. After arriving at the refugees' compound, Leo and Harp are shot at by an insurgent who kills some civilians. Leo tortures and interrogates for information before leaving them to be killed by the gathered mob. Leo and Harp meet their contact, Sofiya, a resistance leader. Sofiya leads them to an arms dealer who knows the location of a bank vault. Now, with this scene, what I liked was the fact that you actually see inside their compound where Leo is actually looking at all the kids playing around and everything, and she just goes on ahead and calls them out on it. So you're admiring your work, because these are all the kids who don't have homes anymore because of the damage that was done with your droid, via drone. And because of that, these are the repercussions that you actually are facing. They're facing now is they're separated from their families, separated from their moms and dads. They don't know where they are. And they're having to set up an environment where they feel safe. And it was all because of Leo. So you have that aspect. And Leo, once again, he does not care, does not show any emotion, does not care about what he's done. But in this scene, you can tell that he kind of cares, starts turning a little bit. That scene I didn't really mind too much.
No, I mean, like, again, I mean, yeah, like, I mean, at the point when you think, like, okay, like, we think, oh, yeah, Leo's a good guy, yeah, so, like, yeah, let's show him some passion, because, I mean, you've been rooting for him the whole time, the rest of this time, and then I think in the aspect of what they're doing with Harp, I think they're forced, I think it seems forced. I'm like, here, like, a guy that saved 38 people, but then again, making him force him to realize his mistakes as a drone guy, like hey, here's all the families that you've torn apart, and it's like I can see that, like, see what they're trying to do, but it just felt like very awkward of how just like they're randomly going to this one person. It didn't. They're like because and the arm like then she's gonna lead them to the arms dealer, and it's just I don't know. It just felt like very awkward. For how like
it was a really awkward scene. I'll be honest with you, but I believe that was also set up to be awkward for Leo because of the fact he didn't know what to say in that situation when he's being called out on it. But at the same time, it has some aspects to where I actually like that scene because it actually calls Leo out on his shit. But at the same time, too, it also feels kind of forced. So it's like I'm lukewarm with it. Like I like it, but at the same time, it's all about the motivation of the plot. It's all about the setup for it. And then also, too, we actually see Sofiya take down the arms dealer, and also we see Leo take down the arms dealers as well, which I thought was cool. I thought the action sequences on how they take them down was actually pretty good.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. Like, I mean, like you said, for a movie that hyped up action, to be honest, there wasn't much. Maybe, like, spurts. Like, this movie is almost... Forgot it was an hour and a half. Might have been an hour and a half. Might have been an hour and 40. I think maybe at least 30 to 45 minutes there was action. And then that's not much. That's not good.
No, and the majority of it is Leo and him in a car, and Leo showing Harp showing Leo the picture of his girlfriend and him looking and saying, oh, how fine she is, which is, again, another reference to what we got with Training Day, in a sense.
Yep.
And then also, too, now, go on. I'll make my point about something else in a minute.
And like I said, I mean, most of the action we've seen was from the trailer. And that doesn't, and like in the trailer doesn't tell you what point. That's towards the end of the movie, almost. That big action sequence to the end of the movie, and like you have an hour and 40 minutes, and you're just doing nothing but horrible transitions, and like spend a lot of time in cars. I mean, geez, this is set up as an honest trailer. It's like, do you want to see a great movie? Like, do you want to see a movie that has nothing but them in cars, them walking, them complaining, them back in a truck, back in a car? That's essentially what this movie is. Back in a car, back in a truck.
Back to not trusting the person that you're with.
Back to him telling you to do something that's against protocol because you think it's the right thing to do, but it ends up being not.
That's what I want to talk about real quick. Is whenever he takes out the tracking device on the back of his back from the droid. Being in the military, you would know not to do that shit. You would know not to remove a military tracking device from a computer that tracks when they're tracking his every movements, because they don't even trust him themselves. So I'm like, okay. Another thing that was making me think about this. I don't know if you thought about this. Why are you pairing Harp up with Leo if you don't trust him yourself?
Because they're stupid.
That's another thing.
I mean, they're like I said, there's nobody worth like the whole movie is about you can't trust anybody. In a sense, like the government was like I said, it goes back to my hatred for him in this movie is because he saved 38 people. So what are you gonna do? You demote him and send him to the guy you least trust. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, that writes itself. Yeah, thanks, Gene, or whatever. Like whoever wrote. I'm like, seriously, the writers need like I like in my review of it, the writers need to be demoted. Like whoever wrote this movie needs a serious like. You need to go to writing school. You need to go to the Ben Affleck, Matt Damon How to Write a Movie. This is not how you're supposed. This is lesson number 1 on how not to write a movie. Like seriously, you don't trust the guy. But you're gonna send the most rookie person to that, and like, and have him be his commanding leader. Like, oh yeah, this is fine. You need to take off my security chip. It's okay. You need to do this because, like I said, yeah, you need to do this. What do you mean you did it? He told me to. Oh jeez.
That is so stupid. And then the military people even asked that, even his own sergeants are like, why did you remove the military tracking device on the back of his back? Well, because he told me to do it. You are a dumbass. You are seriously a dumbass. I know that you're not.
Training day. Like, yeah, going back to training day. Like him, like Denzel here, take this drug. I'm not going to take this drug. I'm going to shoot you. That's essentially what this is. You need to take away my tracking device. I don't want to. I'm going to shoot you. You're like, good luck being on your own. It's like, what are we getting? We're getting a 2021 version of Training Day that sucks. Like, I mean, come on. It's just, and it's so, like nothing but car ride. Yeah. It's so stupid. I'm like, or really, like, even what if he told you to shoot yourself in the head? We're going to do it too. Well, since he told me to, I'm going to do it.
Because at that point, he feels like he's disobeying a order from the higher up, from his, military is different from being in the police force in a sense.
Yeah.
But you're disobeying an order from your superior, and he actually feels like if he doesn't, he's just going to be even more trouble. But at the same time, you also have to think for yourself and be like, wait, you're asking me to remove something that is really something that I'm not supposed to do. But also, too, Anthony Mackie could probably wind up killing him, though, too, if he didn't do it.
Pretty much.
So, either way it goes, he was screwed.
He was in a screwed, a lose-lose situation. It's like, and like this, like transitions were like terrible. I'm like, how do you get from this place? Okay, and then when he reviews that tracking device, then you get set up to the probably the only big action sequence of the movie. Well, one of the few action sequences of the movie. And it's the sequence where Mackie's trying to find this guy, like, and then the weird plot about finding this Russian guy, like, because he's the one that's been like trying to get the silos. We're trying to get him. He's located in this building, so I'm going to go in myself. And then, like, all right, you need to call your boss, like, call the CEO or whatever. Tell him that this guy's in this location. And then you see Anthony Mackie. Like, I mean, this part I thought was kind of cool because it's stuff we see in the trailer.
Yeah, because if you think of it like this, though, he's like, well, we can't call them in because we're out of our jurisdiction on this. So no one's even allowed to even be in that area. Mm-hmm. So Leo knew that he was out of that area.
Yeah, and he doesn't have the tracking device on either.
Right. This also feels like a Training Day part, though, as well. But the part where he's actually pinned down outside of the bank actually makes me feel like he's actually in the battlefield, that whenever he had that option to actually save those Marines or not.
Yeah.
And remember, whenever the person who was actually in charge of the Marine Corps and everything else with that setup, he's like, come on, Cap, we're dying out here. We need your help. We need the drone. We need somebody to come in. And it was just that same type of situation where someone had to come in and kill those people so that way they can get out of there. So it was like in the same type of situation that, of course, that we actually found, you know who I'm talking about, Harp was in before. So basically that was actually a lesson that he was trying to teach Harp.
Pretty much. I think it was
so now he's face to face in his own battle.
Yeah. But then you have Anthony Mackie channeling as John Wick, which that sequence was kind of cool. The only good part of that movie was this sequence. Like he was like that was awesome. I mean, I gotta admit, this is the one highlight of the movie was him taking on these machines and the military guys. I thought that was cool. There was not much I thought about this movie that was cool. This probably was, but then later on, then I'm like, oh, then it just made me hate the movie even more. What happens afterwards?
Well, right, and then after this is actually after the Gumps and Leo retrieves the codes but cannot find Koval. A drone strike called in by Eckhart destroys the bank and several buildings, leading the military command to believe that both Koval and Leo are destroyed. Harp reunites with Leo, right? With Leo, who tells him that he has his own plans for the codes and has been manipulating Harp into helping him evade the eye of the military command. So at that point, that's whenever Leo winds up telling him, we're going to nuke the United States, but we're going to keep all the other countries because the United States is actually the enemy, and we're not the enemy.
We're, like I said, we're at any point in this movie did they mention anything like this? Like, if they were thinking this was going to be a twist, it's not. This is a huge slap in the face to what the highlight of the trailer. Like, Anthony Mackie's going to be the good guy, and in that. And what do you mean he's now bad? Like, what point at any time during this movie did they kind of hint he was going to be bad? Like, I mean, come on.
At the very beginning, it was pretty much drawn out that he was after the missiles.
Yeah, he was after the missiles. He was trying to save people because he works. He's a United States. He's in the United States. He's in the United States military, and is like, and you were like, you manipulated Harp this entire time. I'm like, come on. Like, this was like just this like what did you just like I don't know, like, again, the writers for this, like, you seriously you don't deserve another job for a while. I'm like, what, did you just get drunk and like, okay, action sequence, all right, now he's drunk, all right, now he's evil. Like, no notice. And like, you think this is a plot twist. This is not. Again, this is a slap to the face, like a huge slap to the face to people that are excited for your movie.
Exactly. Here's the thing. The twist was very forced. Not only that, but it's not even a twist. It was already planted from the very beginning of the film. It's just that you have to pay close attention to that one scene of where they mention the missile silos, and then you can put two and two together on what Anthony Mackie's Leo motivation is. And then, of course, then we also have another thing that actually happens. Harp, let's see here. Harp with the codes and has been manipulating Harp into helping him evade an eye of military command. He knocks out Harp and leaves him on the side of the road where he picks up by Sofiya's men. Leo meets with Koval to give him the codes, but kills him, and Koval refuses to give Leo access to nuclear missile silos. So, like, that was okay. That was weird. That was weird. So let's go with the other thing with Sofiya for a minute. Whenever we actually have Harp getting picked up by Sofiya's men. At that point, you might actually think that maybe he might have a chance of maybe her being on his side. But then again, remember, whenever he was over there the first time, Sofiya was like, are you sure we should even talk to him? Yeah, and talk about this in front of him. So, like, you knew she was in on it the whole way. She doesn't care, and it's like, again, at what point did any of this come up? I'm like any point in the movie, like, if you're like a good attention to detail, and I usually am when it comes to movies, I'm like, I would have usually picked up, but it's like the movie, like, the dialogue was so bad in some of these sequences, and like, oh, you're just this in disgust when you're watching what's going on. And I'm like, you're not being able to pick up. I'm like, how did I know she cares about the kids? But then again, some of these kids probably are from the U.S. that got bombed, or whatever. We don't know where a lot of these kids come from, and the fact that she's kind of working, she's in between. It's like she's between working with Leo,
but then she's not. She's like a flame. Like she wants to be with. Like she's kind of with him, but then she's not. I'm like, make up your damn mind.
Right.
Make up your mind already. Like, are you helping Harp? Or are you going to help Leo kill people? I'm like, I mean, come on. Like that whole thing was like, that thing didn't make sense.
No. And then there's that other scene. Okay, so Leo is trying to get the codes from Koval and everything, which he already made the agreement with Koval. So why is Koval going to kill Leo for getting the codes from him?
And then like, and I was like, I had to watch that sequence again. I'm like, because I didn't like, wait a minute. Leo's bad. Why did he just kill those? Why did he just go full John Wick on everybody in that end? I'm like, what, is he silently good? Or was he like playing like a double rogue robot or whatever the heck he was? Like, and then like, or like he killed everybody. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess he's good now. And then it was like, wait a minute, he's not. It's just really too much confusion, and something that from the trailer is supposed to be a mindless action movie with a probably hopefully decent plot, and we're not getting any of it. Like, it's like, no. You're making us think. I'm like, this is stupid.
And here's my thing though. Okay, if they were gonna do that scene to make it look like he was the good guy, why remove the chip from him? Because think of it like this: they could have actually kept the chip in, and then have him still be a rogue kind of soldier and everything, playing off of it. Like he's still a good guy, but really is a bad guy. He has the missile codes. You can still play off of it with him having the chip. Having the chip removed is the most stupidest part of the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But him killing Koval, I didn't get.
No, I didn't get that at all. Like, I thought you were supposed to be, you made an agreement with him. I'm like, well, you shouldn't have tried to kill me. And then like, and you're like, I mean, like, and then you're like I said, I mean, that ruined that whole action sequence because you were busy thinking, what did I just watch? Well, is he good? Is he bad? Because if you like I said, if we knew he was good, then yeah, the sequence probably would have worked better. I mean, like I said, it's an action sequence, but this is the first time in a while that I've hated, like, why did he put this action sequence in there? Because because we're already in discuss that Leo's gone bad, and he's mentioned no point of it in the beginning of the movie that he was going to go bad, and it wasn't even a plot twist. It was just a huge slap in the face.
It definitely was, and I like the stunts. Don't get me wrong, I love the action sequences, but they weren't needed there when the Koval is actually when he was buying the stuff from Koval. So I didn't understand that. So in that sense, in an hour and 40-minute movie, you only have three. Like maybe 1.5. Oh, I was thinking 1.5 action sequences in that one span, because that one sequence, because the bank thing was the big one. That was the big set piece, and that one was fine because you weren't questioning anything. And then this one was a half of one, but then again, but this is a half of one that you're pissed off at because like this made no sense. No, and then it just shows how OP Leo actually is, and overpowered he is what I'm meaning by OP. For anyone that's actually into D&D and stuff like that and role playing, you know what OP means. But in layman's terms, it just means overpowered.
It's a great game. Like I said, I recommend someone playing D&D instead of watching this movie.
Right. You might do a D&D campaign around this movie. You might actually have more fun.
Yeah. And drink, because you'll be drinking during it. So then again, you can maybe enjoy that. But it's like, I mean, and I don't consider that final sequence an action sequence at all, because it wasn't one. It was just two one-on-one. I mean, come on. Like I said, so in a sense, there's maybe two, then again, two halves. So two action sequence in an hour and 40-minute movie. That's not going to fly. That's absolutely not going to fly.
And then it goes back over to Harp, informing Sofiya and her commanders of Leo's actions, and they realize Leo is planning to launch the nuclear missiles at the United States in order to prevent them from fighting more wars in the future. So all this is just about them destroying the United States so that way their nation can actually be established and ours will be wiped off, because they think the United States is the main reasons why we're having wars. So basically they're trying to become like maybe a one nation. What's that?
So essentially, so then we know her true intentions. Like, you're on your own. Like, sorry. I'm like, okay, then you're a useless character. I'm like, you're not needed at all in this whole movie, in the sense that you're just gonna be like, oh, okay, like so monotone. Like, she just feel like I'm listening to Maroon 5, just leaving her talk.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like she was not of a help, like not the whole movie, and then the saying like, oh yeah, well, sorry, you're SOL, you're on your own. We're not helping you. Leo's gonna do what he's gonna do. I can't stop him.
And then at that point, he goes back over to his superiors. Harp goes over to his superiors and he goes, "Let me get this straight." Because remember, this is when they wind up saying to him, "Let me get this straight. You removed a government ship from an android who's going rogue now, and we have no way of tracking him. And he's about to blow up the United States with the nuclear weapons from Russia, and he has the missile codes. Way to go, kid!" Is pretty much what they say. But then he volunteers to recorrect it.
Yeah,
to recorrect the situation.
Well, I mean, it's really the fault here is really the commanding officers for demoting his ass in the first place. I'm like, how stupid are you? Like, I mean, come on. You put him in this position. You wanted him like basic training. This is not basic training. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, he saved 38 people. I want to keep emphasizing, he saved 38 people. Like, you would have lost more men, and he would have been, oh, you should have pulled the trigger. This is your own damn fault. So now you gotta like you put him with Leo. Well, really, you should be blaming yourself instead of putting the blame on Harp, because you put him in the position. I mean, come on. Like, they need to stop deflecting and start taking their own responsibilities, because they caused this. And that's the problem with this movie. Like you hate these people because they put them in this position, because not like, yeah, and it's like, this is on you. And like, of course, he's the one that volunteers to do it because you guys don't have any cojones to stand up and do it yourselves.
Well, not only that, but they don't take initiative at what they do is wrong. They don't accept consequences for their own actions and blames their consequences on other people rather than their own selves. Yeah. But Leo, but Harp is like, well, let me go on ahead and make this right. Let me try and stop him.
Let me save your let me save your ass. That's essentially what this is. And it's like, and then the other problem too is that big shootout with Harp. When Harp was outside, and the civilians like, God, Cap, there's people here. Oh, we don't care. We need to nuke it. If the guy's here, we're gonna nuke it. I'm like, and he's tell him, no, don't. I'm trying to save these people. I'm like, oh no, we don't care. I'm like, oh wow, yeah, that's just, yeah.
What did you think about him escaping the silo and then also getting the girl that was actually with him during the whole entire operation with the drone at the very beginning of the film, and trying to prevent the missiles from striking?
Oh, that whole end sequence or the beginning?
Yeah. No, this is the end sequence.
Oh, I hated it. It's like, again, going to the writers. Like, you stop him and you're monologuing for 5 minutes when the bomb's about to blow up in a minute. Come on. Like, stop showboating and stop stroking your ego. It's like, how I beat you, and get the hell out of there. I mean, I said this in my review. I was screaming on my TV, run! Get out of there! Stop monologuing! Get out of there! Like, you're talking for 5 minutes. I'm like, geez, man, you want to talk about a horrible, like, this monologue is almost as bad as Kristen Stewart's in Snow White and the Huntsman. Like, talk about a rallying cry. Man, this guy just doesn't shut up. I'm like, no wonder why, like I said, you're like, I mean, yeah, I mean, you don't stop talking. You're talking for 5 minutes. The bomb's about to blow up in 1 second. Get out of there. Like,
not only that, but at that point too, Leo's already struck down. Because remember, he ended up throwing the grenade launcher and everything, shooting him with the grenade launcher. Leo's down for the count. There's no getting out. Leo's down.
He's already had the key.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
And you already have the key. Right.
Yeah, he already has the key. I was about to say he's channeling his inner Bondville, and he's telling his whole plot like right when the silo is about to blow up. I'm like, guys, just shut up and do it. I mean, like that's what the part about Austin Powers I enjoyed is like he's like, you're just gonna leave him like him telling him his plan. So are you just gonna we're just gonna leave him in there in one guard. And Scotty's like, I got a gun in my room, I can take him. Scott, you just don't get it. And it's like there's points of like most times villains would win if they just shut up. And that Harp was acting like a villain right now, like revealing like, yeah, how I bested you and speaking for 5 minutes. I'm like, dude, shut up and get out of there. You're gonna die if you don't do it. I mean, it's like, I mean, whoever wrote this seriously, I'm like, what did you get inspiration from this other movie of the worst route, like motivational speech? None of this was motivating. It's got me angrier. I'm like, I mean, it was completely unnecessary. Like, stop monologuing and get out of there.
And then at this point, Harp is actually returning to camp and everything too. His old partner, Harp's old partner, destroys the silo. She's wondering if he's still alive. Harp says that he's still alive. He goes back over to the silo. The movie is over. So that's pretty much how it ends. And for me, I was excited. If you actually go and look at our trailer review that Frenchie and I did, I was all over it. I was eating it like ice cream. And then all of a sudden the movie comes out and everything.
I know, I watched it. I watched it. You and Frenchie were both hyped for it. I mean, I was too when I saw the action sequence, and I was like, oh, cool. This movie's gonna be like this, him taking on these evil robots. And I figured that's what I expected. I expected this. Then I watched the movie. I'm like, oh my god! Talk about a huge slap in the face. And then we got, I mean, we got you're like the Netflix person talked to you. He's like, hey, can you promote this trailer? It's like, okay, and it's like, I think you got people hyped. We got people hyped for it, and then we watched it and we're like just disappointed. Like I mean, I think when I rated this out of 10, I mean, I think I gave it a 2 out of 10. Like, this was just garbage.
Out of 5, what would you give it?
Maybe, trying to think, maybe either 1.5 or a 2. No, I'll probably have to do it a 1.5 because I think that's closer to 20%.
So like a 1.5 out of 5, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if I had to do it out of 5, it had to be that. But I know my other review, I did it out of 10. I gave it a 2. Like, I mean, this for me is not. It's not bad. Like, because I have a threshold for bad now. Bad for me is The Last Days of American Crime, where I couldn't even give it a point. That had nothing worthwhile in that movie. That one action sequence maybe briefly got it above it at a 1.5. But I'm not going any higher than that. I mean, that like I said, I'm trying to get as close to 20% as I did as a 2 out of 10. But this was terrible. Like, I mean, this is like, at least the little things had some elements there to get good qualities and had a great cast. This, you just had Anthony Mackie. Shows you what type of A-lister you have in that one. I'm like, and I'm not. Anthony Mackie did what he could. But the absolute script writing was atrocious. God, a monkey could write it. Heck, I could write a better movie. I mean,
to be honest with you and everything, I think Anthony Mackie did a good job for what he had. It was, like you said, it's the script writing. That was the main problem. But if I had to give this a out of 5, I'm going to go with like a 2.5 out of 5.
Okay. I mean, I couldn't. I mean, one action sequence.
Because there was like a few little small action sequences that I liked. There was the scene with, like I mentioned before, where where Sofiya is actually showing the damage that he's caused with the city, and then showing where the kids are at. I like that. So that was enough for me to give it a 2.5 out of 5, but not enough for me to actually pump it up to like a 4 or a 5.
No, I mean, I think a 1.5 for me. It's because like, the little things like that one action sequence and then the 2 minor ones, I don't even call them action sequences. I just call them a minor, minor injection of adrenaline. Honestly, it's just like it to get you pumped, and it wasn't really getting you pumped. But the overall stuff of him monologuing for 5 minutes really got me over the edge of pissed off. Like, I mean, come on, like that. The horrible plot because you don't even know what you're watching. The horrible twist what they made him bad, and then of course the writers. Like, I mean, I've said it many times. The writers, whoever wrote this movie, needs to like not write another movie for a long time, like at least 10 years, to get this out of people's minds. Because this was just, I think this is my worst movie of the year so far. I mean, again,
I don't know. I have a couple on my list. So far, I have a couple on my list that we've watched, and everything. What some of them are. So.
Yeah, I'm only at 2 right now of worst movies of the year because I haven't seen that many movies from 2021. I've seen a lot of 2020 movies, so I haven't gotten a lot of 2021. And unfortunately, the 2 I have are The Little Things is my number 2 least favorite. This is number 1, but we're only in February, so it's
exactly.
And God, I'm like I have high hopes for Godzilla vs. Kong. Please, for the love of God, if you know what's right, do not have an hour and a half of humans talking. Like, come on.
You know, I was hyped up for that trailer.
I know. I didn't care for the music in the trailer, though. That kind of ruined it a little bit. The music choice could have been.
I do own up to that. So anyways, is there anything else that you wanted to actually bring up with this movie or anything like that?
No, I think I pretty much said it. I mean, it's like, I hope, like I said, Netflix has got a bunch of other movies, like at least 70 others that are supposed to be released this year, and I hope a good majority of them are entertaining, because this one, you got us hooked. Now, like I said, and then you just took out, like clipped us from behind. I'm like, and then, like I said, we have another trailer released this week from another Netflix movie, and that's Army of the Dead by Zack Snyder, so at least that's got some hope, because the director.
And Frenchie and I will be reacting to this again, because the last one that we got was like a 30-second trailer reaction, which didn't really do much for us. So stay tuned for that on Thursday.
Well, I think in, like I said, March, there's a Netflix movie I'm excited for. I'm a huge Eric Andre fan. So if you like Eric Andre, there's a movie called Bad Trip coming out, and essentially he's like an adult version of Billy on the Street. So he does pranks in front of people. Like, some of the trailers like I've seen is he gets smited by this girl, and then his hand randomly ends in a blender, and he turns it on. So you see he blenders his hand, or like he's getting his car vacuum, and the vacuum suctions on his clothes, and it just sucks his whole clothes off. And it's like he's just trying to get a people reaction, which is absolutely hysterical, because I mean it reminds me of Jackass in a sense, trying to see what the people are going to react. But I don't know. Like I said, Netflix, you got many more movies, potentials to get me to take this taste out of my mouth of how awful this was.
Right. Alrighty, so that's going to do it for the show today. I hope that you guys actually enjoyed our review for this movie and everything. If you want to check it out, it's on Netflix for everyone to enjoy. And once again,
we're not telling you not to see this movie. We're just giving you advice to maybe like don't fall for the trailer. Don't fall for the trailer. Better yet, just go into the movie without even watching the trailer. Maybe you might enjoy it more. I don't know. Right. Again, and like I said,
and this movie once again is called Outside the Wire. It's on Netflix. Check it out if you guys want to check it out. Also, too, we have some stuff coming up this week. For instance, the Thursday, Frenchie and I will be reacting to the new zombie movie by Zack Snyder. We're going to be doing that. Then Friday night, I think we're going to end up doing A Walk to Remember with Sarah. So this is Charlie and I doing a romantic movie with Sarah from Go Get That Rose. Check her out on YouTube. Check her and Joe Waite's show out on Netflix on YouTube. Go get that rose. They actually do a Bachelor after show. If you're into The Bachelor, check out that show. I strongly recommend it if you're heavily into that show. Another thing too is tomorrow night. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing. I know it's tomorrow night I'm going to have Mike Perkins Jr. on with me. We're going to be doing a review for Goodfellas. That's actually going to be on the Stereo app. And then for the rest of the week, I'm pretty much freed up. Friday night is Tamika and we're going to be doing a WandaVision after show for episode 8. And then after that, we're going to have our romantic movie section for me, Charlie, and Sarah to watch A Walk to Remember. So you can actually watch A Walk to Remember on Netflix and then come back and watch our review. So that's everything that we have actually planned for this week. And as we go out through our week and everything, we're going to go and I'll talk to Charlie and see what else we want to do for Tuesday through Wednesday and see what we got planned. So if you guys want to, and everything, go on ahead, donate some money to the show. How do you do that? Just go to the link below, www.gofundme.com/Movie Lovers Unite. Also, too, we also have a Patreon. The Patreon is at www.patreon.com/Movie Lovers Unite over there. Of course, you guys can go ahead and follow at Movie Lovers Unite on Facebook and also on Instagram and also on Pinterest as well at Movie Lovers TV Lovers Unite. You can get this podcast wherever you get your podcasts from, and all media. And then, of course, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter at Movie Lovers Unit, go on ahead and do that. And then you can also follow me at John DeGorio8. And then, if you want to, for all your entertainment needs and pleasures, go to www.movieloversunite.com. And always until next time, guys, it's been fun. It's been a blast. Thank you, Charlie, for joining me. And
anytime.
Bye-bye.
Bye.